Yeah, you mentioned the private sponsors, and many of them themselves were the family members. They're like, "Oh, we finally found a pathway, to reunite with my sister before, mom's memory gets worse, or to be with my child before I miss too many more birthdays." They finally, I met so many of these families, and oof, that's the part to me of like you had that light at the end of the tunnel, and you had the email confirming, yes, after all these years, after all the applications you've gone through, every hoop you had to jump through, here's the ticket and here's the flight date. And I just, since January, that's been breaking my heart every day. And like you said, not personally, it's not my family, but it's very real in our community and the people I work with and the people I care about.
Yeah, and there's still very strong public support for
Hmm.
refugee resettlement. In fact, there's some recent polling that indicates that there's greater support this year in 25 than there was in 2024.
Yeah, I saw that. That was cool.
And it's bipartisan
Hmm.
support. So, if you say you want people to, come here legally, here you go. Here's a program that's been bringing here people here legally for 45 years. Now, that's not to say that, anyone who doesn't come in through refugee resettlement isn't also, worthy of, respect for their human dignity and human rights,
Yeah.
but it's a program that, there's been a lot of evolution in the program. There's been a lot of innovation pointing the way toward, I think, a future that's going to be, an even better program than the one we knew in the past. Um, but to invoke the kind of discriminatory refugee policy that is going to leave, as you point out, just the numbers are staggering. It's over 200,000 people in the pipeline
Mm.
to come to the United States. 123,000, I think, is the figure for those who've already essentially been cleared by USCIS. They've been vetted. 14,000 or so essentially had their plane tickets in hand. They were cleared to travel when the program was suspended, and as you know, there's a lawsuit that's been grinding its way through the courts
Yeah.
to try to unfreeze that. There's a travel ban that affects many of the countries from which that are refugee sending countries or countries of origin for refugees. So there's all these doors are being slammed shut